Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here with my daily video, and our challenge today is I would like to hear about that fabric that you love. This is the Spread the Love sort of mini series here, taking different parts of our quilt making, but there's always that one fabric that you loved it so much that you maybe eventually used it. Maybe you haven't used it yet. So many of you I know have a big piece of fabric that you're like, I just love this too much to use it. There's never been a project I wanted to put it in. But I have one that I still love. I actually had it, I think, in a couple of colors at one time, and I did put it in a quilt, and I did put it in several quilts, and I used every little bit of it. So I thought, I wonder if I can find that quilt, the one that I used it primarily on the border. Aha! Imagine that. I went to the area in the quilt storage where I thought it might be, and I found it, which was a minor miracle. So I'm going to show it to you. First, let me tell you, the fabric is very old. It was from Kona Bay, who is no longer in business, and it was probably from Kona Bay back in 97 or something like that. The pattern is not mine. It was before I was designing. It is from Linda Brannick, who passed away many years ago. It was one of her self-published patterns, which means it was probably from the mid 90s sometime. So anyways, there you go. Now I'll show it to you, because don't be asking me for where the fabric is or where the pattern is. Okay. I have a few things to tell you about it then too, which I had forgotten, which is really nice to go dig through and find our quilts. So here it is. This is the quilt I made with that border fabric, and I'll show it to you close up here in a second. So it is a wall hanging of a basket filled with flowers. One of my everlasting things I love to make, and I've not done that kind of applique for a little while. Here is the fabric. This sort of berry with a leaf, and I love the colors of this particular one. I think I also had it in a tan. It is just, to me, sort of like a classic design. It's not one that would be dated so much. I'm sure somebody feels it's dated. I don't. But the thing is, let me show you, is I was running out of it. I mean, literally running out. So in order to do this quilt, do you see here on the border, do you see these strips? So what I did is I found some berry kind of color fabric that went with this, but my goal was I didn't want to have those little spacers really popping out. So I made them very, very similar, so that when you look at it, they're not really that obvious. Now that you know that they're there, you might see them a little bit better. So let's talk about the back, because I actually had forgotten what I did. I finished this quilt in 2000, and I have a label, which is all the reason you should have a label, even for your own quilts, because when I flipped it over, I read on my label, there's the label, that I had done this. I finished it in April of 2020, I'm sorry, that's the future, April 2000. And I did it in memory of my beautiful chocolate lab, Brandy. She had passed away earlier that year. We'd had her for 14 years. And I had totally forgotten that I did this quilt at that time. It was sort of my therapy quilt. She was our last dog. We didn't get any more. We had two at the same time, so pretty much. But on the back, what I'd also forgotten is that I had put these dog fabrics that I collected. Two different ones. There you can see them. And I bet some of you have these dog fabrics, because they were quite popular at one time. There were this particular style of these sort of the crowd of images. They came out with people first, which I believe was more of a decorator fabric that they transferred over to quilting. And then here's with the animals. So it's got a really nice drape. It has a hanging sleeve. And so I think I'm going to take a picture of it and put it in my gallery so I can document it. And then I'm going to hang it up somewhere to enjoy it. I've always loved this basket. For periods of time it would hang in my bedroom. So who knows, maybe I'll put it back in there. Maybe I'll put it in the hallway for a while so I can see it whenever I'm walking. I have a small home and I do have a lot of quilts hanging, but it's still a small home. There aren't a lot of places. I've got quilts as many places as I can have them. So there was, I thought that was sort of fun to go look for a piece of fabric. Oh, I used it in the basket too. Look at that. And this quilt is all hand appliqued and machine quilted. I also did some, you can see it on this fabric here. Yep. Do I have, yeah. So you can see I did some hearts, you know, from my Brandy girl, my chocolate lab. She was so sweet. So that was fun. I was really interesting to go in and be, first of all, I was thrilled to be able to find it. So what I want you to do for your challenge today is tell me or show me a picture of that fabric you have that is just been one of your favorites, a timeless piece. If you can share a picture of a quilt you made with it, or if you still haven't made anything with it, show a piece of the fabric. Okay, so we have some others. While I'm standing, my UFO status, I got the binding on the Grandma's Kitchen. So here we go with that. Here's the Grandma's Kitchen, and the binding is on. It's the green stripe. There you go. And I just did a top stitch, straight stitch for attaching it to the front. I decided not to do a blanket stitch for this one. I still have to stitch the hanging sleeve. This one I used an old Kate Spade fabric. So I had this big piece of fabric, and none of this is in the front, but I thought it went really well with the colors, and I've always loved this piece of fabric, so I thought this is sort of serendipity today to have the love of your, you know, love fabrics, the pieces you love the most. That is one. I saved it and saved it and saved it. I actually had like a charm pack or something from the line, but I gave that away. But eventually I kept that big piece that I had saved to borders or whatever, and it just fit the backing, and I still have a little bit left, so it was like, yes. That was fun. All right, I want to talk cross stitch a minute because I have a question. Let's sit down. I have a question about what do you do and how do you handle this, because I'm basically come from an embroidery background. Hand embroidery is what I've done more, so doing the cross stitch has been awesome and fun, but I have some questions about what people do. So first of all, here is my piece. So I've got started to get the saying done, and now for whatever time is left in February, I will work on a different cross stitch. Let's put that one to the side. It is from this project, so from Heart and Hand. It is going to be long because I'm on a bigger size cloth than she used. Okay, so here's my question. Now on this cross stitch there is the little frames around each, there's a frame around each one of the, here, I'll show you over here, it's probably easier. A frame around each month, there's a frame around each month, and then there is this pretty green that's in the border. So those two floss, I did this. I took one of the holders from the Fat Quarter Shop, and then I wrapped the actual floss, I kept it in its paper and wrapped it and clipped it so that I could find these two again and put them in this basket, my working basket. Oh, I did another one too. Oh, that was the letters. The gold is the words, and here is what's this blue is what's around each month. So I've done that, but on other, because I'm going to use these over and over, and I don't want to have to keep going back and getting them. For the other ones, I just wrap them like this. Now, I don't know if you're doing that, if you do, how do you handle it? Let me know, let me know. I'm also totally loving these containers. So I've put some of the threads, needles threaded up in here. It works really great. And there's also two other styles. I think I'm gonna trade this one out for the Need a Little Love, for the pink one. And then there's also a Get to the Point. So I'll link you to those down below, and this basket. Because if you have a need for these little rope baskets, this one is so fabulous. I love it. It just is perfect for what I'm doing. Alrighty. So I'm curious how you handle the floss. I think this is working for me, but if you have a better idea, give it to me. Okay, the last thing is our health. Our health. This part of February for me is hard to get out. I mean, we have had what I'm calling, it's like shake, shake, shake. It's like it'll snow, sleet for a day, and so, or maybe 2 days I can't go out. And it was like 3 or 4 days I couldn't go out before. Remember I said we found my pedometer and put it on, but that pedometer has a problem. It doesn't clip very well, so it's constantly falling off. So I went on the internet and I found a very inexpensive watch pedometer that actually has an app that it works with. So you download an app to your phone, and there we go. As of this morning when well, you probably can't see it, yeah. As of this morning when I was here, I mean, I've had only like 1,200 steps, which is not very much. But I am taping before lunch, so. But I'll link you to this. It is by a company called Let's Calm. It was super easy to put on. You can get different color bands. I got pink. You can order all the color bands if you want. And I'm wearing it on my right hand, which is not normal for me because my left is still swollen and the scars are still too tender over here. So this one is acceptable. Like it's working okay. I'm not sure how long it's going to feel good. I've only had it a few days, but I did take my walk with it yesterday when I could walk, and it worked fabulous. So if those of you who, and it's very inexpensive, it's like under $25, and depending on when you click, I was able to get a $2 off coupon on Amazon when I got it. So I think I got mine for like 21, which I thought for 21 I can get it and see how it works. It's synced to the app effortlessly for me, which is not the case I had with other ones that I had purchased, which I had to get on with their tech support and everything else. This one, it just followed the directions, has a little booklet with directions that comes with it. So anyway, I like it, and so if you're looking for something like that, that it's not a lot of money to give it a try. So that's good. I'm also going to link you to some walking videos because I need to do those, I think, on the days that I can't get outside and walk. Our Jen, one of our friends here, Jen, sent me a link to a walking, like a 1 minute, a 1 mile walking video, which was about 15 minutes long, which is not too bad. And then I found one called Walking with Rick. And I think Rick's in Dubai, and he was, at least the day that I watched him, he was in Dubai and he was outside. And so the scenery was kind of nice. It was in the city, and he had really peppy music. The other one has a whole bunch of different people on that channel. So I'll link you just to the one that she sent me, which was the 1 mile. Okay, healthy is important for us quilters. All the links are below. Thank you for using them. Click that subscribe so that we can visit every day. And show me that fabric. Show me that fabric that you love. I'm so excited to find the tulips. Okay, my friend, I love you. Mwah. See you online.